Ever wonder what keeps you safe when you're flying over a conflict zone? The answer is pretty incredible, kind of like something out of a spy movie, but it's a very real and very crucial part of modern air travel. So let's get into it. Just picture it for a second. You're on a flight, maybe you're watching a movie, looking out at the clouds, and you have no idea that thousands of feet below, a war is unfolding. Missiles are in the air, the tension is sky high, literally. And yet, everything in your cabin is perfectly normal. How? How is that even possible?
All right, here's our game plan. We're going to peel back the layers on this whole thing. We'll start with the big question, then look at a tragic case where it all went terribly wrong. And after that, we'll uncover the 3 hidden shields that protect you: invisible highways, super smart tech, and a secret hotline you would never ever expect.
Okay, first up, let's unpack this central question. You might think there's just one simple trick to it, but nope. The reality is this massive, multi-layered system that's always on, always alert, and operates completely behind the scenes.
So, what's the deal here? Do missiles have some kind of smart eye that sees a passenger jet and just swerves around it? Or are the missile defense systems on the ground so brilliant they can instantly tell a 747 from an enemy weapon? Well, the answer to both of those is kinda. And how it all works is seriously fascinating. Now, to really understand why these systems are so incredibly important, we have to look at what happens when they break down. And that brings us to the absolutely tragic story of Ukrainian International Airlines Flight 752. On January 8, 2020, a single catastrophic chain of human and technical errors resulted in the deaths of 176 innocent people. It was a brutal reminder of just how thin the line is between safety and disaster when you're flying near a conflict zone. You know, the heart of this tragedy wasn't just one mistake. It was a domino effect of failures. Iranian forces were on maximum alert. A missile battery's radar was misaligned, just by a tiny fraction. But that tiny error made a passenger plane, which was climbing normally, look exactly like an incoming enemy missile. To make matters worse, communications were down. The operator was alone, under unimaginable pressure, and had just 10 seconds. 10 seconds to decide. He fired. And 176 people never made it home. That disaster really underscored the need for these protocols. So let's look at the first, and maybe the most basic, layer of defense that's designed to stop that from ever happening: simple physical separation. See, the sky isn't just this big, open free-for-all. It's actually a network of incredibly precise, strictly regulated flight paths. You can think of them as invisible highways in the sky. And this right here shows you just how different those highways are. Your passenger jet is cruising along at, say, 35,000 feet. But a long-range ballistic missile, that's a whole different ballgame. It blasts way, way up past 100,000 feet, flying in this massive arc near the edge of space before it comes down. They're not even in the same ballpark. They're operating in completely different worlds. Okay, so that handles long-range missiles. But what happens if a plane goes off course or a different kind of weapon is used? That brings us to our second layer of safety, the technology that can answer the critical question: are you a friend or are you a foe? The key piece of tech here is a system called IFF. It stands for Identification Friend or Foe, and it's basically a way for a plane to digitally shout, "Hey, don't shoot, I'm one of the good guys." It's really cool. It's like a digital handshake. A military radar on the ground sends out a signal, an interrogation ping. The plane's transponder instantly and automatically replies with a special civilian code. That code basically tells the defense system, "Relax, just a passenger plane here." And boom, the aircraft gets marked as friend on their screens. And it gets even more advanced. Modern systems, like the American Patriot or Iran's Bavar 373, don't just see a dot on a screen. They analyze the radar reflection itself, and in a split second, their computers can tell the difference between the gigantic signature of a Boeing jet and the tiny blip of a drone or a missile. It's that smart. So we've got altitude and we've got technology. But there is a third layer to this shield, and this one, I promise you, is the most surprising of them all. It's not built on code or physics. It's built on secret conversations between enemies. It's one of those wild, hidden truths about global conflict. To stop a terrible accident from happening, to prevent a small fight from turning into a world war, even countries that are sworn enemies talk to each other through secret back channels. They actually warn each other.
The official name for this is deconfliction, and it's basically the process of making sure your military attack doesn't accidentally hit something it's not supposed to, like a civilian airliner. Often these messages get passed through a neutral country, like a go-between, so the enemies can coordinate without having to pick up the phone and talk to each other directly. And this isn't just theory, it actually happens. Remember after the killing of Iranian General Qasem Soleimani? Well, before Iran fired missiles back at U.S. bases, they reportedly sent warnings through those back channels. The attack was real, but the heads-up gave time to clear the air, both on the ground and in the sky, to avoid massive casualties and prevent a passenger plane from getting caught in the middle. So, let's wrap this all up. It's not just one magic bullet keeping planes safe. It's three powerful overlapping shields. You've got the altitude shield, keeping planes and missiles on totally separate highways. Then you've got the technology shield, with its digital handshakes and smart radar. And finally, you have the diplomacy shield, using secret hotlines to clear the air before the shooting even starts. All three of these layers work together, silently, 24/7, to create this incredible, unseen shield. It's a system designed to make absolutely sure that innocent people on their way to a vacation or a business trip don't get caught up in the games of war. But as the tragic story of Flight 752 proved, any system that has a human being at the controls, especially a human under incredible stress, can fail. And that leaves us with a huge question for the future. Could AI, something that can process billions of data points in an instant with no fear or emotion, could it one day remove that risk of fatal human error for good?